What's up, everybody? Back here with another video. It is the third prediction video for the college baseball tournament. Today, we're going to be talking about the Athens Regional. Now, the four teams in this regional are Georgia, Boston College, Liberty, and Long Island. What an interesting regional. There's so much to talk about. Let's get straight into it. So I'm going to start here by talking about Georgia, the Dogs. They had an amazing year. Obviously, they went 23-7 in the SEC. Just recently wrapped up a dominant performance against Arkansas that ended up giving them the SEC championship. They are 40, what is it, 46-12 overall. Unbelievable season from them, honestly. When it comes to, honestly, like I mentioned before, they've been dominant in a really dominant conference. It matters so much. Some of these teams like Auburn, who's the fourth ranked national, has like five or six less wins in the SEC compared to Georgia, which is just crazy. It shows how dominant, how consistent they've been in such a big conference. And they're also really hot, which also matters a ton in this time of year. Now, on their way, they've had a ton of really good wins. They just beat Auburn in a series just a few days ago. They ended up beating Ole Miss in a series as well, and Mississippi State too. And they haven't really gotten any bad series losses. I don't even know if they have any in general. So, really impressive stuff. When it comes to their roster, they have some really, really good players. Obviously, Daniel Jackson, who people are arguing is the best player in the entire country. He has unbelievable stats. He's been amazing. They have Trey Phelps as well. A bunch of other guys in the lineup that are really, really impactful. Then when it comes to on the mound, they have Caden Aoki and Joey Volchko, who are honestly two of the best pitchers in the country as well. They've been unbelievable. When it comes to just consistency, being able to produce on every single night, Georgia might have that better than any other team. How about Boston College, though? A team who's had an underrated year in the ACC, even reached the AP poll a few times. They're 36-21 overall, 17-13 in the ACC. But the problems on their team have happened a lot recently. Their offense hasn't been really good. They've been insanely cold, haven't been able to win games, their pitching hasn't been good either. Overall, haven't been able to do anything. They got smacked by Georgia Tech the other day in a series, and they honestly just haven't had that many good series wins in the entire season. And it kind of seems like the wins that they've had are kind of, as they're now getting worse and worse, it feels like the original accomplishments that they have mean less. Their best series win of the season came against Miami, which was a little bit earlier in the year, but they also lost a series to Clemson, who's been really poor this season, and FGCU, who's not near the tournament. Really unfortunate. And Boston College, like, I'm sorry, but I think they're starting to get a little bit overrated. When it comes to their talent, I mean, their only real good player is Nick Wang, who's a great hitter, but other than that, they don't really have much. And I think that if Wang's not on top of his game doing, hitting 400 and blasting home runs left and right, I don't see a world where Boston College is super impactful in this tournament. Next up is going to be the Liberty Flames, a team who did really well in a tough CUSA conference. They went 41-19, 21-9 in the league. They have a great offense, really important to know, and they've also been really good against good competition, which matters a lot. Like I mentioned in this in the tournament in general, when you win, when you're playing against good teams and you're performing well, you're going to do well in the tournament. They beat Jacksonville State, who had a good year. They took down Dallas Baptist, a team who's struggled a little bit, but still we know the program that they are. They also took down Duke twice, who's not doing great in the ACC, but regardless, beating high major competition matters a lot. When it comes to the bats, they have Nick Baroni, who's done a really good job. And when it comes to the pitching, they have a duo of Bradley Zayak and Ben Blair, who've been absolutely great this season, and shows that Liberty doesn't just pick up wins, but they have a really good roster as well. The final team to talk about is Long Island, who's had a really good athletics campaign in general after making the tournament in basketball as well. Pretty cool to see. They also got an FCS or FBS win in football actually against Eastern Michigan. Shout out to Long Island, who've had a really good athletic year. But anyway, when it comes to baseball, they're not really good compared to some of these other teams. They started the year 0-7, which is pretty crazy, but they've been really hot since then. They ended the year 30-20, have gone 26-7 in the conference. But unfortunately, when you think about, the other good teams in the NEC, there aren't really many. They haven't really gotten any good series wins. They haven't lost anything, but the reality is there isn't much to note about this regular season other than the fact that they just couldn't win early and they started to win later in the season. And then the only real big name on this team is Nicholas Finarelli, who's been a pretty good pitcher for them. But other than that, they don't really have any good bats or any like iconic guys that step out from the rest. So who's actually going to win this competition? I'm going to give it to the Georgia Bulldogs at home. I don't think that's much of a shocker. They've done so much in the SEC to prove themselves. But when it comes to the second place, I'm not going to pick Boston College. I'm going to pick Liberty, who I think is going to be pretty important throughout this weekend. I think they're going to contribute a lot. They're going to give Georgia a run for their money, but of course the Bulldogs are going to prevail. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in and make sure to stay tuned if you want regional predictions for every single one this tournament.